Welcome to the show.
Starting off with a slow one, huh?
Slow dog night. It's called High and Lonesome.
I guess. Sounds like it.
I've been high lately, but I haven't been lonesome.
That sounds pretty depressing. What the?
Hey, blame Hollywood's
put
brother.
You guys asleep. They will be alive.
Blame Hollywood's brother. This is Hollywood's brother with the men.
What is that, a country tune?
It's the men, man.
Little slide
It's the
guitar.
men. Little slide guitar.
They go from like punk to country
to trippy.
I feel like my dog died.
Your truck broke down.
Yeah.
Your toaster broke.
Oh my God.
Let's write a country song. Well, welcome to the show. We are live from Rattlesnake Jake's here in Deerfield Beach. If you haven't been here, you got to get here. Black and Dolphin fajitas, the steak burrito, the ahi tuna appetizer, and ahi tuna roll, for that matter.
Yeah.
Which I haven't had in a while. Got some of the regulars in the house.
Holly.
Actually, I don't see anybody, but I
Junior
see
back there
Miller.
cooking or no?
Junior's back there cooking. Miller is, he thinks he's entertaining. Miller keeps telling me how he's entertaining.
Yeah, he
In
is.
his own mind.
He's entertaining. Sure. Sure you are, pal.
Well, we're going to get rid of High and Lonesome, and we won't play that one again because there's better stuff by the men. Also, what was the other name of his band? The Dream Police was the band that's touring right now.
That sounds like stolen from, Styx, man, right?
Right? The Dream Police, they live. It's actually Cheap Trick. The Dream Police, they live inside of your head.
We going to call Will, or you want him to call?
He can call us at 954-601-5008.
When do you want to tell him? How about 10 minutes?
Tell him, we'll recap yesterday. Tell him about 210, 215, somewhere in that area. And we'll recap a little bit of what went on yesterday, as there was a huge surf session. But some of those sessions, or some of those contests were, there was no waves. You were saying that Mick Fanning lost and there was nothing he could do. John lost and there was nothing he could do.
There was no waves coming in, man.
You know,
I really felt bad for all those guys, the top guys, just didn't catch any waves, man. I mean, it was like, then these guys paddle out and it's pumping for the final. I mean, what was really cool was that there was actually waves, because the whole world was really worried that Karen Perot made the bad decision on day
last Saturday.
Yeah, on day 2 of the contest.
And I was
to
going to ask you about that.
And then if you watch the videos after 2 o'clock, Pipeline turned into perfection, man. If you watch some of those videos.
Well, why would you
954
601
6001 5008.
You got it. Why would they call it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when you at least got?
No, he called it at 11. I lost an ear.
They called it at 11.
Yeah, he called it. I lost. There we go. I'm hung up. They called it 11:30, and they could have waited another hour and seen how it got better.
That's what I'm saying.
But he didn't, and he just called it. I guess they might have been worried if somebody was going to get hurt. Who knows?
Somebody get hurt because it was so big?
Yeah.
Because it got so big after the fact?
It was big and kind of unruly, and I think they were just like, well, are we going to have it or are we going to not have it? You know what I'm saying? And they just made that decision instead of
and then they
saying,
didn't surf
let's
all
try
week.
to have it. And then they didn't surf all week. It went flat. It was a north. And lucky for Kieran Perot. I don't know if it's lucky or he just, the swell came. It was good. The people who were left, caught it, won.
Well, I think the right guy won. I mean, Gabby deserved it. He surfed as good as anybody or better than anyone, obviously. And congratulations to
Gabriel Medina. First Brazilian world champion.
Ever.
All my Brazilian friends on Facebook that definitely let me know that they won, and I was really proud of them, actually. A lot of people have this thing about Brazilian. They just don't understand them. They're Brazilian. They're from the other half of the world. You know what I mean? They're on the other side.
Well, they got a lot of pride.
It's different.
And they love their country.
And, Gabby deserved it, man. And we had a bet. We wanted to bet that he would cry if he won, because he did cry when he lost one of his first big matches, and nobody would take the bet. We knew he was going to cry like a baby, and he did. And congratulations, Gabriel Medina. You are definitely a fucking ripper, dude.
Well, you know what? It was basically boiling down to him and Mick Fanning, because early in the day you had Gabby advance, and then you had Mick advance, which obviously when Gabby advanced, it knocked Slater out. Yeah. And then Slater was done. And, of course, John didn't have a chance once that happened because he was sitting in the 4 spot behind Slater. So, congratulations. And I'm glad that Mick Fanning didn't win. I didn't want to see him win back-to-back. And he's never won back-to-back before. He won in 09, 11, and last year.
Yeah, he would have won the World Championship if he would have won.
So who won the Triple Crown? Was it Julian?
Julian Wilson won the Pipe Masters and the Triple Crown. He had to win it to win the Triple Crown, or Dusty Payne would have won it. I don't know. I was glad that Julian saved my $40.
Yeah, I was too.
So
and that was like last wave because I turned it off. We were watching at the bar with Hollywood and his girl KG, and we had it on my phone. Katie, I call her KG because she's Katie Goldsmith.
Oh yeah, KG,
yes. KT and KG.
Sick.
So basically, we're watching it, and I'm like, oh, it's over. Give me the phone. I shut it off. And I guess in the last minute, that Julian Wilson caught that wave?
He got a 9-7, and the wave was unbelievable. Let's see if we can get a video right here. Yep, there it is. Gabby came in during his other heat. And then Pat, did you see that part?
What's that?
Where he came to the
beach.
He came in.
He came in early
during his heat.
That's why I turned it off because I saw Gabby coming in and I saw him in the lead and I just shut it off because he was coming in.
Yeah, he came in and then I'm talking about.
Oh, when he came in and I thought he was
in the semifinal heat.
Yes, I did see that.
Or his quarterfinal heat, and then he won. He ended up winning the heat with only 10 minutes. I mean, Felipe Toledo had every opportunity to catch some waves too. I guess this was really slow out there. Those whole 3 or 4 heats were with no waves. I mean, people were scoring 4s and 3s, and then these guys come out for the final. The final explodes into perfection, and I think Julian had a freaking, let me see, total heat score. What the hell happened to me? Total heat score of, I think it was almost 18.
Well, because I turned it on my phone, actually, and I saw him getting carried through the crowd, newly crowned world champion, and he wasn't in the water, and I'm like, oh, he's going to lose, so he's out. And I knew that Mick Fanning was out because he had won, and we already saw Slater get beat early in the day, so I'm thinking I got John going. I still got John in the money. I got the only horse in the race, and I told Will, you got no chance. You're beat. And then all of a sudden he goes back out and catches waves. And then wins that heat, and then advances to the final.
Yeah. For instance, John's heat he scored 4.04. Josh Kerr got 6 total.
Jesus.
All right, so you're looking at, and they didn't catch waves till, hold on, I got the time. They didn't even catch any waves in their heat till what? I don't even know what time this is in the heat. They don't show it, but I'm talking. They didn't catch any waves till the very end of the heat. John caught 1 wave. It was a 3.67. And this is it right here. And it was a backdoor barrel, just a very little tuck cover up. And that was like the only wave. And he was actually in the lead then because he had a 1.3. And then Josh Kerr come back with this 4.17 on a very small wave. I don't know how this outscored John's 3 because there ain't no way.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He did a big lip. But John's was deeper, and then John came back with a 3.7. He just basically came in. It was a terrible wave. So John didn't make it through, which is a bummer. We all had him. And then you had Adrian Buchan and Alejo Muniz only scored. Adrian Buchan got 2 good waves. He got a 12.17. Kai Otten didn't catch any waves. In Heat 4, he got 2.77, so. And that was the quarterfinals. And then in the semis, we had Josh Kerr and Gabby, and Mendina took him down with a 13.60, and then Julian beat Ace Buckham. Adrian Buckham, he rips too, man. Julian Wilson, when I started to watch the contest yesterday, I said, this guy's going to win. He's just killing pipe. He's playing with it. He's an ex-pipe.
Is that vocal coming from your computer?
Yeah. Do you want to turn it down?
No, I was wondering where it was coming from.
Yeah, that's from the Heat Analyzer. You guys can go check out the Heat Analyzer on ASPWorldTour.com. You can watch the whole contest if you want, by heat, and skip everything. Skip the announcers and skip whatever you want. So.
And that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and then you could just check it out. You can watch the whole thing in a short amount of time. So.
Well, I invited Taco Joe today. I called him up about 1:20, told him thank you for the fishing escapade the other day, and we're going to do it again in the middle of January.
I'd like to take the kids.
We're gonna, I was going to say we're going to go out once a month, so we'll plan on a Saturday in January where there's no football.
Right on.
Like maybe an early Saturday because you do have the NFL playoffs playing on Saturdays sometimes. During January, but we'll get a Saturday. We'll go out. We caught a bunch of fish, and we had a couple guys doing some spearing, and it was a fun time, hell of a time. The worst part of it is I had to work that night, so literally we got back to the dock at 3:00. I had to be at work at 4.
Oh yeah, so you were beat up.
Oh man, I was so beat. I went home that night. I went to bed at like 12:30, which never happens. I'm never in bed by 12:30.
I think my wife's father, Sean Kinney's listening to the show today because he's in Michigan.
He said Michigander.
Yeah,
and I said Wisconsin by way of Florida.
Yep.
I'll have to friend
Listen
him.
to Tatiana still claiming.
Yeah, she is.
Will Mendina.
I'll have to become friends with Sean.
They gave her Will Mendia, the newly crowned Will. What did she call him? That picture she took? Oh, it's funny.
Oh, here's a picture.
Picture of what?
Julian Wilson on the ground celebrating.
On face?
Yeah, Oakley. I guess he's a Oakley represented guy.
Nice.
Congrats to Julian Wilson, Billabong Pipe Master, and Van's Triple Crown of Surfing Champion. Wow, I mean that's a pretty good way to go.
A lot of times
we don't win the world title. You're not in the top 5, but yet you win Pipe Masters and the Van's Triple Crown.
Yeah, and he wasn't in contention for the world title. He had a pretty lame year in the beginning, but after he ripped Haleiwa.
Well,
Dusty just took him down. He was second.
Well, that's what Hollywood was saying, that really Julian Wilson deserves this. He surfed better than anybody down the stretch here.
Yes, he did. He ripped.
And,
and he could win a world title if he gets it together. He just seems to have bad luck,
Yep.
And, our slates went down. What do you think? You think Slate's coming back next year?
Ooh, I don't know. There was nothing that he did wrong yesterday. It's just that
no way.
He caught, what was it, Toledo that beat him?
No,
it was
Muniz.
The Brazilian, Muniz. Alejandro.
Yep.
Muniz caught that last wave, and what are you going to do?
90 seconds left, perfect. Slater should have been on it.
Well, Slater was on it, and he talked about it after the fact, and he's like, well, he had priority. I thought I was going to be able to trail him, but then it was closing out, and I was too far under, so I thought I was going to go, front side, and, it didn't work for him. So,
nope.
You know what? He handled it pretty well. He's been there before. This guy, he's 42 years old. Yeah. Does he come back and do the tour again? I don't see why not. I say why not.
He's surfing. You're in contention for the world title.
Going into the last day. At 42.
You need to keep going. It's not like, like Michael Jordan retired. Kelly's already retired and came back and won 6 more. It's like, it's crazy, man.
Just a little sports update. I know this is a talking surf show, but Illinois State is playing New Hampshire in the Final Four of the Division I AA championships. Go Redbirds. That's my alma mater. So go Redbirds. I've never seen them on this level before. They've never been in the Final Four that I know of, and they got a chance to make it to the national title game, just like Florida State. So Florida State will play the first. I could have both my schools in the final game this year. That would be pretty freaking cool. And Illinois State gets the ball on the other half of the field. Here we go. Come on, Redbirds. All right, we're going to be joined by Will Wall any minute here. He's going to be calling in from the Great Lakes. He lives in Sheboygan, right?
He lives in
What's
Wisconsin.
Sheboygan?
I don't know if he lives in there, but he lives in Wisconsin.
I saw you.
No, but that's
Sheboygan.
That's because that's the wave. But did you read the?
I read about the Rocky Point wave, which is where Stone. I always call it Rocky Point.
So Rocky Point. Well, did you read the caption that came from wannasurf.com, and it's killer what the write up. And I'm going to ask Will if this is correct. This is the heaviest wave on the lakes. A deep 300-mile long trench ends abruptly at Stony Point. The full brunt of the open sea swells, even though it's freshwater, on the rock shelf. It's powerful, beautiful, and very humbling. She breaks best in the winter when the waves bring northeast winds, turn to the north, and crank up. This can cause 2 to 3 days of nonstop overhead groundswell. Low air and water temps tend to keep the folks off the peak. Winter's best waves will be seen 0 to 15 degrees temperatures, while driving through a blizzard is not uncommon. The wave pinches top to bottom and can very easily be driven into boulder-strewn bottom. Helmets are a plus. Whoa. Stony will break 15 to 30 times a year, of which 15 to 20 are the dead of winter.
Wow.
Keep in mind, it gets blown out very quickly. It's also a place where the offshores can blow so hard you can't paddle into the wave. And this is when I really like the atmosphere. Only the dedicated come to play here. It's brutally cold and stunningly beautiful. Bob Tima, 18-year-old Hawaiian veteran turned Great Lakes hellman, describes Stony as very similar to Rocky Point. And it's rather and I'd rather get beaten by a 6-foot day at Pipe than a 3-foot day at Stony. Very interesting. So that's Will. Let's hear from him, and we'll ask him if that's correct.
How are you, sir? Hello, hello. Did I hang up on him? I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, cool.
Call us back, man. I was trying to type something.
Classic.
I was trying to type something. I got distracted.
You are so good. Pat is the producer of the show, ladies and gentlemen, so any technological difficulties will blame him.
That's it. I blew it. Call us back, Will. Sorry, man.
William. I'll hit him up.
I was on Facebook like an idiot.
You were jamming the face.
Oh, that's not what I want. Go back down. Where's the Skype? There's the Skype.
Call again. I just typed in for him.
That's not Skype. Where the hell's the Skype? There it is. All right, well, we are going to be joined by Will Wall in just a second, and thanks to Burton Hathaway as well. We've had him as well before, and we'll probably bring him back.
Sure.
Because
maybe we'll give him a call. Give us your phone number, Burton. We'll call you later.
Yeah.
See what you're doing.
We'll do a double dip on the Great Lakes Surfers. These guys last December 29th, I believe, so we're almost a year to the date of the coldest surf session ever. It was like 34 degrees out.
That photo's from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was 34 degrees out in the air.
Yep.
It was, 34 degrees in the water. It was, I believe, negative 15.
It was 36 minus 50 wind chill.
And negative 15 normal.
Degrees, yeah.
So you're negative 15 degrees with negative 50 wind chill.
Yeah.
And the water is yet 36 degrees. So the safest place to be, the warmest place to be, is in the water.
Yes.
And Will, give us a call back, and we'll recap that. And we'll, see if you found any new places, because those guys are always exploring the Great Lakes and finding new spots. And
I'm sure they got their secret spots, and they probably won't tell us, but I don't blame them.
Especially if they got a lot of guys listening.
Congratulations to Elijah Wall, Will Wall's son, getting into Ronald Reagan College Prep School. Very good, sir. Very good.
I can call him.
Go ahead. You got his number? Call him back.
I don't have his number.
You probably thought, why? Well,
Recent. There's recent.
There you go.
Bluebird Sky. What is this?
These guys, hey, you guys,
there he is.
They keep posting Surf Talk Radio. We are talking surf radio.
Will Wall in the house.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Nada, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas
brother.
to you. And sorry that I messed that up a little bit there.
Pat,
no, it's no problem.
Pat hung up on you. He's done that. He's done that to Garrett too. Don't worry.
Oh no.
Oh, the Garrett McNamara show is
my God.
One to be appreciated after the fact, because we had all kinds of technical difficulties. Actually, we haven't had really any technical difficulties since that day. It's been like smooth as ice, and obviously the Great Lakes never really ice over. Well, I guess they do. I have been on Lake Michigan when it's iced over, and it looks like you're on a different planet. But what's the new adventures going on in the Great Lakes? And we'll get to that recap of the old, that session about a year ago, because we're coming up on that. I think it was the 29th of December last year, correct?
That's right. That's exactly right. To the date.
Nice.
To the date. Nice.
To the date.
Well, tell all these folks some of the new ventures you've been taking on, and you and Burton been killing it up there, and obviously traveling all over the Great Lakes. And I was saying to Jim, does he live in Sheboygan? Because Jim hashtags Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And me and my buddies, I told you this a year ago, I think. We used to always, we used to take the train through Wisconsin, and it's like, next stop, Sheboygan, Potawatomi Park.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange name, in itself, but it's a beautiful little town, and it's got a nice little setup. It's got a couple little setups, that you can surf there. But, in the last year and a half, so much has, happened that we've been able to find newer breaks, and I've been traveling to different places, and it's been amazing, just being able to, have such diversity out here on the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been.
Your friends.
I've been following you guys all year, like I always do. I always check in. You guys have been catching some good waves, man. Even in the summer, I saw some surf. You guys were catching, huh?
Yeah, believe it or not, we've had a pretty good season so far. Just a couple months, or maybe a month ago, we had it up to 23 feet. The buoy was reading 23 feet.
Nice.
So it's one of the biggest days I've seen it out here. So it's we definitely get the size. We get the size.
And it was relatively...
But overall, man, it's been great. I've been able to surf different spots. I actually won first place in the ESA contest going out to Northeast Regionals, this time. So I qualified. I won first place. And I was really stoked about that because, that gives me the opportunity to compete, and give that much more, to the Great Lakes.
Sure.
So it's been great, though. It's been fun, just finding places to surf. And we actually just found a new place, and it's actually closer to home, and it breaks around a point, comes in on a sandbar, and rights and lefts. So I think for the next couple of souths that we get, me and my buddy Burton Hathaway, we're going to get up there and we're going to try to just get it when it's best. So I'm excited about that. So
do you guys use any Google Earth to check out points and stuff to find waves over there, or what?
A lot of times I do. I'll just I'll get on Google Earth and just kind of look around. But believe it or not, most of it's just kind of word of mouth.
Right on.
You hear some guys say, "Oh, I heard there was a break here," or I think there was a spot, this way, and you just kind of got to get yourself out there and just make it an adventure and just find the spot. And believe it or not, so far so good, because the last 12 years that I've been out here, I've been able to really find some really good waves, some good places to surf. And I'm blessed, to be out here in the Midwest and to be able to experience something like this. Most guys, they don't get a chance, And I, too, I come from the coast. I was born and raised in Florida and lived out in California during the 90s. And found my way to the Great Lakes, and it's changed my life. It actually kind of brought me down a little bit.
A little humbler, a little more slow-paced, not as fast-paced Florida style. Everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses around here.
Absolutely, time kind of stands still out here. Which is nice. So, and plus, things have been happening still. I mean, I got a lot of good guys behind me, guys like Brian Tanis and Mike Killian. They're really good photographers, and they love the adventure, too. They love the fact that, me and Burton and a few other guys are out here charging, and really trying to make it happen, and, getting kind of successful at what we're doing, being able to, forecast at least 7 days out, and be able to map it out and actually kind of get it whenever it's good. It's a blessing for us out here.
Right, and I'm sure now the technology and everything with your buoy systems, and you guys have everything now over there. So, I'm sure that it's probably a lot easier than it ever was to, predict, just like, regular surfing in the ocean, same thing.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's a good point. Because even like 12 years ago, when I first started surfing, I started out in Milwaukee, and it was only a matter of time. But as technology kind of got better, and we found more surf sites, back then there was only one site to go to, and those guys were based out of Chicago. So it was kind of a small community back then, but it's grown tremendously. I mean, there's so many websites out there that put out Great Lake, surf, and I'm real proud of that. I'm happy that we're accepted.
Right on.
You know what I mean? I mean that's a blessing for all of us out here. Because it's like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was just non-existent.
Sure, there was probably just a small group,
right?
Mm-hmm. Now,
yeah, and if it wasn't for like guys like Larry and Lee Williams, that actually when I got here, it was really something because those guys have been surfing the lake since the '60s.
yeah.
They had it all to
That's-
themselves, like the guys that went to Costa first, and we've had Rick Dygert on here, and he was a guy that went to Hawaii, and then he's like, hang on, I'm going to go to Costa, and he's like, I was the first guy, not the first guy, but one of the first guys in Costa where there was nobody in the water.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I went to Costa
Absolutely.
in 80, I'm going to say 83, 84. One of the first people to go there. I mean, besides the 70s guys like my buddy Rick Dygert and them, I mean, there was definitely a surf culture there just starting, and now you look at it, it's a mecca, and you got guys like Cali, Carlos Muniz, who is, surfing pipe, got the Todd Chesser Award, so...
Really?
One thing I want to ask you, Will, do you guys have a company? I mean, are you guys going to go to the Surf Expo? Are you guys promoting brands? What are you guys doing?
That's a funny question because I'd never really even thought about that.
Yeah, I'd imagine, I mean, I could see you guys with a booth at the Surf Expo, Great Lakes something, just, and then just that drives it, and then you get all these surf shops to buy your gear, and I'm sure a lot of people that move to Florida, we'll use Florida as an example. Say I'm from Michigan and I move to Florida and I just start surfing. Then all of a sudden I go to a surf shop here and there's a Great Lakes surf shirt with, Sheboygan A-frame peak peeling, all awesome, and why wouldn't I buy it? Because then I'm from there, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention,
I want one, and
I was going to say we'd represent down here.
So you guys better come up with some logos. We'll promote you, and we'll get you out there, man.
That sounds really great. No, it's awesome. Because I've just been, I work, for an electric company, and my wife's a nurse, and we both run, a couple duplexes, and we're just kind of making it, and
sure.
Just putting myself and my surfing out there just a little further.
Right on. You got to
definitely something to look into.
Yeah, you got to do what Garrett McNamara did on our show. On our show, when we had Garrett on there, he said he had started a surf shop, and he would go to work every day and run the surf shop, and he would drive by and he would look at everyone surfing, and he was like, I can't surf, I got to go to the sink. So he changed his whole attitude towards whatever he was going to do. He wanted to surf and be successful, and now the guy is, he's one of the biggest wave riders in the world, and he just put
sponsored by Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah,
Who else is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, and so he put his head down, and I could see you guys doing that. It's an untouched thing. I think you guys would be. I want a Great Lakes surf shirt. I want a Great Lakes hat. You know what I mean? Something to show some surf. So, and a movie. We had Eric Soderquist on here, and he's got that movie. They went from Oregon all the way to, Mexico or Chile. I think they went all the way down there, and they got a movie and logos and a book on Yahoo. So, or Amazon.
Yeah, there's actually a book by Jack Norton out there. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's called Surfing Great Lakes.
Cool.
He did a 1 and a 2 volume out there, and they show pretty good pictures of guys around all the Great Lakes, surfing. But I could see myself, maybe coming up with some kind of shirt, T-shirt,
sure.
sticker, you know what I mean, something like that. Because
sure.
I mean, right now I'm not really thinking about capitalizing on that, and right now I'm really worried about, or focusing on, just finding that next good lake wave and,
right.
Make sure that, my adventures keep, continuing. And
sure.
and I really do appreciate guys that really do back me up. I mean, there's guys in the last, 5 or 6 years that have really got my back, and like Team Hyperflex, the guys out there, Peter Salarino, Sean Keaton, Pat Emery, big shocker to those guys, man, because they believe in us. Me and Burton and a few of us, they believe in us, and we definitely put ourselves to the test. If last year was 51 below, it's the coldest ever, and I tell you, and I tell people this all the time, when they ask me about the suits, I'm like, man, you guys really should check out the suits. They got this really good microfiber inside of them that keeps you so much warmer,
right?
When you're out there, because I'll tell you that wind chill, when it gets negative below, and it cutting right through you, and the last thing you want to be worried about is being cold.
Yeah.
You know, and having to get out of the water. You know, so your equipment is definitely a must out here. You know that for sure. So.
Sure.
But
Now,
yeah, and then you know, just finding waves and having fun. You know, and doing what we love to do. You know,
Yeah.
and hopefully maybe something will happen. You know, maybe somebody will take an interest in us and, you know, want to do a story or cover a story.
sure.
You know,
Thank you.
It's really cool. You know, I mean, since I've been out here in '02, you know, I've been able to just kind of hook up with a few guys, you know, that believe in the same way that I believe in, you know, and had a passion for lake surfing. And, you know, I mean, you know, guys that, you know, I mean, I'm just thankful for all my guys, you know, Brian Tanis, you know, for covering most of the photography. And
Yeah, he hit me up on Facebook today.
You know, I mean, those guys really are, you know, they're behind us 100%. And, you know, you couldn't ask for better friends than that, you know, really. So that's interesting that you said that about, you know, doing the shirts and stuff. So maybe I'll just keep that in mind.
Hey,
You
we'll
know,
manifest it
maybe
right
it'll
here
be
on Talking
fun
Surf.
to do.
Yeah, and you know we know lots of graphic designers. I'm actually one. That's what I do for a living. So if you guys come up with ideas, I can have my guy, or I'm a little busy with what I do, but I could definitely have my guy who he does a lot of straight graphics. Well, I do graphics too, but I'm actually a landscape designer graphically. But yeah, just let us know. Shoot me some ideas, and it's obviously got to be from the heart and hard, and it's hardcore, obviously, because it's Great Lake surfing. You know what I mean? So I don't see it being, kind of wimpy, flowers and stuff like that. So, yeah. No,
I talked to my brother today, and my brother's coming back from, he's getting one of his, he's actually getting his first tattoo ever, and it's a pretty extravagant. He's part Japanese, so it's Japanese art. And he's like, "What's the weather like down there?" And I'm like, "Well, it says 80 on my dial, and I don't think they would say it's partly cloudy because it's pretty sunny, but there are clouds in the sky." And he's like, "Well, it's gray and 32 here." And I'm like, "Well, sorry, bro, but I'm from here. That's why I moved back here." And he's like, "Well, if I didn't do what I did, I'd probably live there too." And so obviously you guys are super troopers getting out there and obviously doing what you guys do, and it's a joy to us down here because we tell everybody about it. We're like, "Oh, we got these guys. They're coming on the show, man. Watch out for Burton Hathaway and Will Wall."
Yeah,
by the way, Will Wall is from Jupiter, Florida. Okay, folks.
Yeah, and
I am.
I
am. I was born in Palm Beach Gardens Hospital in 1973, and I come from a large family. My mom was one out of 12.
Whoa!
And I got 36 cousins. And,
holy cow!
That's a huge
I thought I had a lot.
Yeah.
So I come from a big family in South Florida. And which I love Florida, man. I miss Florida a lot, and I miss surfing with the guys from back in the day. Which I want to give a big shout out to those guys: Jim Tolliver, Dave McClymont, William Kimball, Brett Duff, Monty Clemont, Julie Niederhaus, Noah Roman, and Eric Rumner. A lot of those guys, man, back in the day, they were, in the ESA, and they were pushing themselves out of Palm Beach. And some of those guys are still doing it today, and, man, it's just proud to be affiliated with them still. Even though I haven't gotten to see a lot of those guys in over 20 years, because I've just been away. I lived out in California for, the 90s, and I traveled Mexico and Hawaii and Australia, and I got to surf Tasmania. So I just kind of, did my thing, for a few years. But I ended up back on the Great Lakes, which, ever since I moved here in '02, it's just been a strange and crazy adventure. You never know what you're going to expect here on the Great Lakes, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
So,
what brought you to
and I love that. I love that about the Great Lakes, is that it feels so much like an adventure because, you're traveling through the woods and, it's taking an hour or 2 or 3 to get there, and then you're scoring surf, with your friends, and it's really no hassle at all. It's just pure enjoyment, and it gets you that right itself is very addicting, just having that, blissfulness, about surfing,
Yeah. Yeah, and about life, too, because it obviously sounds that you're pretty happy with what's going on in your life, and that's what it's all about, is being positive and being electric and loving life and loving what you do, and that's what you're doing. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, that's, I do a yoga show on here on deforadio.com with a 65-year-old yogi who has been at it for about 45 years, and he got into it through karate. And, it's been his life calling, and he's been sharing it with us on Defo Radio. And I swear there's just times I'll have moments that, last night I was out at the bar, and my girl and Jim's wife are talking, and I'm just thinking about mental yoga. I was just like, wow, okay. It came, certain things come to you in certain moments, and you're like, okay, let's embrace it.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm doing out here. I'm really just embracing it. I'm very lucky to be in the position that I am, I'm 41 now, and
welcome to the club.
Yeah, right. Thank you. My body doesn't work the same way it used to do, that's for sure.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had blown my Achilles back in March of last year, and it put me out for about 7-8 months, and I come back, and I was able to win first place at the Bill Lemons Memorial, which got me into surfing into the ESA, going to the regionals. So I'm coming off an injury, that I'm just proud to be able to bounce back because, now that I'm 41, I don't heal like I do, and it takes everything to stay strong, and just feels good to be able to come back off an injury like that.
Well,
it's a bad injury too.
No, it's one of the worst injuries you can have is the Achilles injury, and it sounds like you came back from it pretty quick, 7-8 months, because I know those things can take a year and a half sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of flexing, a lot of training, a lot of therapy, and is it 100%? Probably not, but it's good enough for me, and I'm going to be happy with what I got. So, but yeah, it'll get better, in time. It'll be better. So
nice. So
yeah.
what do you have on the radar for the the next month or so, or got any plans? Because I know you said it's just an adventure up there, and I have a friend that actually I grew up with in Chicago, or just outside the Chicago. We were in the very first western suburb of the city, and he moved to Wisconsin, and he never moved back. It was his place. It was quiet. It was all the things that he wanted in his life, and nobody, all our group of friends was like, "What are you doing, TC?" His name's Tom Coleman. We called him TC. TC, what are you doing? He's like, "Hey, you guys can come visit me, and I'll come every once in a while and visit you. But this is where I live. This is what I do."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice state to raise your kids in, the Midwest. And plus, it's so beautiful out here. I mean, I know Wisconsin, there's only like a few big cities, in Wisconsin, and then everything else is just farmland, and woods, So there's really not much here, outside of the cities. So it's good to be able to have that city life and then be able to retreat, out into the woods, for day play or surf or whatever it is that you want to do, That's one of the things that I really like about, Wisconsin is that, it's slow enough for me, that I can get everything done and I don't feel really rushed about, what's going on.
Right. And like Jim was saying earlier, you don't got to keep up with the Joneses.
There's
no Joneses to keep up with because you're the only one.
The only Joneses is, they're catching surf and you got to work.
You guys know it. That's exactly how it is.
That happens to me every day, buddy. Don't worry. When there's a north swell here, I'm texting the boss, "Hey, man, I got to go surfing for a couple hours. I'll call you." Oh, man. And then, Florida's the drive. So you're driving, you're looking, you're hoping it's going to be good somewhere. You do an hour of looking at it, maybe 2 hours, and then you decide to go to work, and then your boys call you at the end of the day. You missed it. It was unreal. And you're just,
the thing about lake surfing up here, and back to the question that he was asking about what I'm going to be doing, and that's up here the wind blows from each direction constantly. It'll blow from the south one day, and the next day it'll be from the east or the west. And here in the lakes, if you're willing to travel around the lakes, you can find that spot that has that fetch and has the ability to produce a nice little wave. So I'm probably going to be doing the next. Well, I got 14 days off, for a vacation for my work. So I'm going to be doing a lot of lake surfing if I can, from the 25th on. And actually, I think if I'm correct, I think that we're supposed to be getting some waves on Christmas Eve. So that's going to feel pretty good. That's going to be a nice little Santa Claus gift. So yeah, lots of traveling and lots of surfing, and and believe it or not, like back to getting to where just finding new waves and new breaks. I've been here 12 years and I'm still finding new waves, new breaks. And I plan on just trying to get back to those spots, and trying to get some surfing, and and just so many places out here that that break. It's like during the week, I don't have time to go and surf, because I'm working, and a lot of these places they break far off, but there's a lot of surf that goes on around us, but some of us we don't have time, we're too busy working or taking care of family issues or whatever it is that you do with your life,
Sure.
I'm tagging you right now. My buddy that I went to college with, we actually went to school in Louisiana. He just put up a picture. Actually, he didn't just put it up, but somebody commented on it. It's actually from October 8th, 2010, and he's surfing the Great Lakes. I'm just like, I didn't even know this guy surfed. His name's Chris Polanski.
Cool.
Chris Polanski. See how timing works?
Yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. Within the last decade, I'd say there's been so many guys that transplant out here from different locations. It's wonderful. It's awesome to be able to meet these guys because they have the same little dream that you do. They want to find that Great Lake wave, and they want to get in on the adventure. And I don't blame them. Who wouldn't want to? It's just so much fun just being able to score surf, in the middle of nowhere, and so in the last 10 years, we've had so many people come out. I've got guys from Australia, guys from Chile, Canada, a lot of guys from Canada.
Guys who can handle it.
It's been really cool. It's amazing who you will be able to meet out here on the Great Lakes.
Sure.
So it's been a great experience. It really has. And I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to be able to be in this position. To where, because a lot of guys, they go to work, they surf their same break. They go to work, they surf their same break. At least I know that. On a particular day, I can travel, 2 hours north, and score good surf by myself or with my friends, and, it's just it's a blessing to be able to have that, and a lot of guys don't have that. A lot of guys just have to take what their little local spot gives them.
Now, are you in Racine too, like Burton, or no?
No, actually, Burton Hathaway, he lives in Racine, and I live in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. You're in the city.
The story behind him and I is that, years ago, when I moved here, I think I was here 7 years, and he moved out here from California, Huntington Beach, and we surfed the wave pool together. And, he won, and I was like a dark horse. I come up, I think I got like second or third. And from then on, it was like, hey, man, we live close to each other. Let's just get together, man, and just map this out and do it. And, I just remember the first adventure we had. We went up to this spot on the upper end of Lake Michigan, a nice little beautiful spot up there with a little lighthouse on it. We'd come around the corner, and we couldn't see the point, so we started walking through the trees to try to find the point. And we finally get to the end of the trees, and we look out, and there's a perfect right-hander just peeling like 250 yards. And it was just me and him, and we surfed it. It was in late summer, so, we were just starting to get those south swells, and the water was like 70 degrees, and just blue, crystal blue, fresh water.
Yeah.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. And from then on, me and him, we were just like, what, man, we got to keep doing this. And we started surfing other spots and different places and mapping things out. And I tell you, it's like, you work hard for what you want, and I'd say in the last few years, it's been a return. You reap what you sow, and, you work hard at what you get, and you can kick back and relax and enjoy the ride. And now that we find over a handful of breaks, that breaks off for different winds and stuff, good legit breaks, we surf them, and we're just kind of adding to the list, as the more breaks that we find. So it's just like this never-ending adventure, and I hope to be doing this until the day I die, because it has that much fun about it,
Right. I mean, it's good for your soul, it's good for your heart, and it's good for your mind. So it works for everything. That's what surfing does, and I'm just an enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I live off that same motto, it's not about, how big the wave you're going to catch or about how, the the bigger wave it is or how many winds that you have or, whatever it is. It's about surfing, it's about being on the wave and getting that ride, and if I can get it out here in the Midwest, compared to nothing, I'm going to try like hell to, to survive. So, and I've been blessed to be able to do it so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, I remember watching, it must have been about 10, 12, 15 years ago, Step into Liquid, and it was, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he said whether it's 2 foot or 20 foot, it's all about being out there and being with the guys and the camaraderie and, the love and the fun of it. So
I mean, every surfer knows the feeling. I mean, that's a Billabong slogan.
Every surfer knows
the
feeling.
Actually the guy was Colin McPhillips is who you're talking about. And I remember that segment that he said, of what he was talking about. But years ago before that, Vince Dure, who, did the film, he did another film called Lake Michigan Surf 1 and 2. And I think it was number 2 when they had direct editor at TV Grind, Chris Morrow. He was the senior editor at Surfer at the time, and he flew out and he surfed with those guys. And he did it like a little afterwards, post of, hey, look, there's waves out here. You can do it. You can surf it. It's possible.
Yeah.
And whenever I saw that, I was kind of just, and I ended up telling him that, that, hey, man, if it wasn't for that little clip, you saying, hey, there's surf out here on the Great Lakes, I probably would have never even came out,
Right.
So, I got to thank him for that little bit of inspiration to me, man. And if it wasn't for guys like that, that had come here before me, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today, man. That's why, guys like Vince Dure and the Larry and Lee Williams brothers, those guys that were Lester Priday, those guys that, Tom Ward, those guys were, here before us, and those guys kind of, led the way for me.
Yeah, Lester's a guy that was in that movie.
All those guys.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Hey, Jim, ask him about the heaviest wave on the lakes that you said you were going to ask him about.
Oh, no, that we're talking about Sheboygan. What I was going to ask you was you saw what I wrote on top of the picture I put
the wave that ends at
Stony Point.
Yeah.
Now, is that a pretty did you read it? Is that a pretty accurate I got that off of out of wannasurf.com.
Yeah, well, you know what, I'll tell you, Bob Teemum is, he's a pioneer too, man. He's one of those guys, and the story about me and Bob is that in 2002, they back then when they had the Dairyland festivals, and Bob, I remember specifically, Bob had these photos, and he was showing me, the photos, and my jaw just dropped to the floor when it was Stoney's Point, on a perfect winter's day, and I just was just amazed by the pictures that he had, So I actually begged him for a few, photos, and he, sold me a few photos, and I told him like one day I'm going to come surf that spot.
Right on.
And I did, after a few years later, I ended up being able to go up and surf in the spot with those guys, and. So, whatever he says, as far as the water temps and everything and the thumps, he's right. There's a lot of, when it comes to the cold water, that low density, it's just, it's not really the same as surfing on the coast because, you're missing that salt content. You got tons of rubber on. And you can't ride the same board that you're riding out there on the coast because, a lot of guys, and I've seen it, a lot of guys come out, and they bring their, the East Coast boards, and they paddle out and they literally sink in the water, and they have a hard time, surfing. So
Sure.
you definitely got to, put your your science to your surf. But yeah, Bob's a good guy, man, and I saw that, I read that post, and he's right on. He's actually done some work with Jamie Sterling, and
Sure.
they actually did some stuff with Red Bull, years ago. And that if you ever see the footage of that, and we actually got to surf that spot too. It was another good spot, that got on Trans World, and it was a good story. We didn't even know the name of the place was so secret. They wouldn't give us, they wouldn't say the name of the place, and we're driving around hours looking for this spot, and I look in my rearview mirror and I see this guy following me. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? So finally I pull over. He runs up to my car, and I'm like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, are you guys looking for a surf spot? And I won't say the name, but, and we all looked at each other. We're like, yeah, that's it. That's it. And he's like, come on, I know where it's at. I'll show you. The guy was from Canada. He flew in from Canada on this side of the lake to surf, and he knew where the spot was. And, just out of weird wonderness, he was able to, hook up with us, and go surf this spot, which was the first time that we surfed the spot. And, it's just such a blessing to be able to find that place, because it's one of the heavier waves. It's right up there with Stoney's. It comes around a good cliff, and stacks up pretty good. So, there's places out there. There's more places than what we think. So, and that's the fun of it all, is being able to go try to find those spots.
Nice. And that's what it's all about. And when you find it, you're like, oh, my God, it's gold. It is like truly the leprechaun and the gold pot at the end of the rainbow.
Hey, Will.
Yeah, to a surfer's heart, it really is. Just to be able to, find that break. And I think that's something that every surfer, wants in their life. They want to be able to surf, a quiet, unknown, uncrowded, place. It's, and to be able to have that, is awesome. So I'm blessed to be a lake surfer.
Hey,
love your lakes, right?
Hey,
yeah,
right.
Love
hey,
your lakes.
Well, my wife is from Saginaw, Michigan. Her father, my father-in-law, is listening. He asked me before the show, and I told my wife that you were coming on. He's like, well, she says that's one of my favorite shows I've ever listened to. On your show was the Great Lakes one when you guys were in the coldest surf sesh. Well, he's listening. Sean Kenny's listening to you guys, and he's interested in what we do, so that's pretty cool. But I got a question for you on the boards. Why don't you give us a little description on who shapes your boards? How do you get them? And what kind of boards are they?
Well, that's a really good question. I'm friends with a guy. When I lived in California, I actually befriended a guy by the name of Brett Bender, and he's shaped out of Imperial Beach, California, because that's where I lived for 6-7 years of my life. And it was really amazing because 2 houses down, I remember cleaning up boards, in my garage, and I look 2 houses down and I see this guy, and I see him cleaning his boards and stuff like that, and I kind of walk down there and talk to him, and his name was Tom Hansen, and Tom Hansen kind of took me under his wing, and God bless Tom Hansen, he passed away years ago, but he was the first guy that kind of brought me into the group, with those guys in IB, and so for the last, I don't know, it's 15, almost 20 years now, he's been shaping my boards. So, when I talk to him over the phone, I say, hey, look, let's try this. Let's go with that. He's really flexible about it, man. And he makes the best boards, and over the years, he's actually, he's got a magic model that just works perfect out here on the lakes. And I tell everybody, man, if you get a chance to order from the guy, expect a good board because that's all he makes. He's right out of San Diego, and believe it or not, he's shaped out of the same house as a lot of those guys in South County out there. So, he's got the experience. He's been shaping since 1979.
Wow.
Which is awesome. So he's got the knowledge, and plus, he's a really good longboarder, so he knows his stuff. But he's been shaping my boards, and I've been riding for him, and I actually was, well, let's just put it this way, you know, the years and the relationship that we have, you know, I mean, I'm still buying boards, but hey, you know, my boards are cheaper than what most people can, you know, can get. So I'm blessed on that, and I'll take what I can get, right?
Right, exactly.
Now, what size boards you ride, and how thick are they, and you know, what's going on there?
Well, if I was riding on the coast, you know, I'd probably go with like maybe a smaller board, a 5'10", you know, 5'11". I'm 5'9", so I'd probably go with a smaller board, you know. But you know, here on the lakes, man, you really have to compensate for all the variables in the equation because you know, if you don't have the right equipment, you're going to sink. So here, you know, my first board that I actually had shaped out here was a 6'3", you know, more like a fish. You know, it was a 3-inch thickness, you know, even rails, low rocker, you know, it's a good little board. And, you know, it rode for a while.
That's a lot of volume.
And then I just kind of wanted something a little different, a little more progressive. You know, so he actually made me a board, you know, he was like, oh, this is the first kind of board, you know, that I've shaped, you know, with these dimensions, you know, so he called it the Will Wall model. You know, which I got, you know, in my garage. You know, I got a Will Wall model for the Great Lakes, which, you know, it's a good board. It's a fun board, you know. And then my latest board, you know, that I went with was a 6'6", a 6'10", you know, a nice full nose, low rocker, you know, but more even on the rails and a nice little thumb tail, you know, for response, you know. And I put a 4-fin in it, you know. And it's so far it's really been the one board that I can really cross over, you know, and ride out here on the lakes because, you know, it's hard, you know, you're not going to be able to get those days where you want to pull out your 5'11", you know, your small super stick, you know, and just rip it to shit, you know, because that's not going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to compensate for what you got, you know. But, yeah, kind of, you know, over the years I put my science into my boards and, you know, I've worked a relationship, you know, with this guy, man, and I love his work and I love what he does. And I encourage people, man, the guy's, he's open for orders, you know, and if you want to order a board from him, man, I'm telling you, you're going to get a good board.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Will, we're wrapping up the show. Thank you for joining us here on DefoRadio.com. Couldn't get better than this, so thank you very much because the numbers that we're looking at for listenership is unbelievable, and we don't always get this all the time. Obviously, your boys up there in the Midwest are tuning in, and thank you to Brian Tanis, who's been posting it. Thank you to Burton Hathaway for posting it all week and giving everybody a heads up. And what we'll do is hopefully bring you guys back maybe after the new year, you and Burton Hathaway at the same time, because we can do that.
Hey, that sounds really good. I'm sure Burton he'll be excited to hear that.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, again, thanks. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and keep chasing it so that we have stories to tell.
Hey, and congratulations to your son, Elijah, getting into school. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. That was a really good Christmas present for me. He's a smart kid, and, you know, he's on his way up. You know, he's just in the 8th grade, and he hasn't even reached high school yet. He's already in prep, going into college prep. So
sick. Wow.
Super excited about that. It's amazing. And I just want to say to all the other Great Lakes surfers that I didn't get to mention, man, God bless you. I love what you guys do. You guys are my inspiration. You know, we're one big family out here, big community, and we're all doing it, you know, for the love of the lakes and for the love of surfing. You know, so Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy New Year.
Awesome, man.
Thanks, bro, man. You guys kill it, man. Awesome.
All right, Jim, Pat, you guys have a good holiday, too, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Will. Take care.
All right, bro. Bye.
Awesome.
Will Wall, 45 minutes straight almost.
Yeah,
nice job.
41.
Yeah, beautiful.
Like just under 41
And
minutes.
then we lost the other show, didn't we?
We lost it. That's why we had to bring him back.
Yeah,
and he brought up a bunch of stuff. And
that we
thank
didn't
you for
even,
making our show so
easy,
Will.
that was an awesome show, man.
Peaked at 9 listeners.
Nice.
Every 5 minutes.
Nice.
That's
almost yogi status.
I was going to say, only the yogi status has broken the double-digit barrier.
Cool. Cool, man.
We were almost there. We were at 9-9 up until about 2:45, and then it dropped off. Now it's at 5-9.
Hey, well, you got to know that.
Thank you for the listenership. Thank you, Will Wall, Burton Hathaway, Brian Tanis for putting it out there. We really appreciate it. And, we got about a minute left in the show. Definitely check out cruiseboggle.com. A fella that lost all use of his extremities from a accident skimboarding when he was about 20 years old, and he's been at it for about 4 or 5 years. He's doing great art with his mouth. And check him out on cruiseboggle.com. Check out slavetothewave.com as well. Check out Ben Hicks Fine Art, or is it Fine Photography?
Fine Art.
If you just Google Ben Hicks Fine Art, you will get what
Local
you need.
guy.
He's also on Slave to the Wave. He was out in the Bahamas last week and putting his stuff up. So I guess is there another swell coming? Did I hear that, or am I wrong?
Nope.
Nope, I'm wrong.
Settle
All right.
down.
Illinois State getting their ass kicked here. This is not good. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. We've been at it for an hour. Thank you to Junior and Rattlesnake Jakes for having us. We will be back next week at 2 o'clock. Don't know who we're going to have, but I'm off next Saturday. And
hey, we're going to have Mendina on, bro. Because after the contest, he's going to be available. So you guys stay tuned. Yeah, we're going to get him with your boy from the from Papa's.
From Papa's?
We're going to make him come because he's going to be free.
I'll talk to him about it tonight.
You know, so that's our next. We're going to have the champ.
All right.
So you guys stay tuned.
Again, this is the men. We're not going to try and put you to sleep, but here you go. This is Batile.
Late.
Oh yeah, got to turn up the volume.